This is an old but still intact wine barrel from a Spanish vineyard, which I want to use as a rainwater container on our terrace. It's made of oak and contained red wine. As you can see by this intense purple color it still got on the inside. It also still smells really intense. It needs to be sanitized, maybe sealed, weatherproofed. I want to build a stand underneath, install a tap and connect it to my rain pipe. So let's better get going. The barrel came with the top already removed and the lid. When I got it a few months ago, I could tell that it has just until shortly before been in use for storing wine in, for the wood was still moist and smelling fresh and quite boozy. And indeed, the best maintenance for wooden barrels is to keep them wet. Dryness makes the wood shrink and causes cracks and gaps. Just look at that. Filling water into a wine barrel makes the microorganisms go about their business and turn the water into a smelly broth. So winemakers use sulfur to treat not-in-use barrels and keep microbial life in check. A friend of mine who is winemaker recommended me these sulfur strips, which are then just burned inside. With a wire, U-shaped like this, the strips can be suspended inside the barrel. But before lighting it, I need to close the lid. Okay, now wait a few minutes. When burning, the sulfur reacts with air oxygen, forming sulfur dioxide, which sanitizes, disinfects and conserves food, which is why it's also used in food production, even organic, for dried fruits, jams, juice and wine. All right. Some minutes later, the sulfur is burned. I open the barrel again to let the smoke escape, for it can be harmful when inhaled. So much for the inside, now for the outside. Unlike a Spanish wine cellar, this barrel will be exposed to sun, wind and weather, so better put on some sun lotion. Ah, the color's really coming through now. And that's genuine Spanish red wine, I guess. In my opinion, the best protective treatment is linseed oil, for it can be applied to wood for keeping the water out, as well as to metal, keeping the oxygen away, preventing rust, which is already necessary. And it even can be applied to stone, preventing frost damage, like here for example. So I like linseed oil a lot because it's a great all-rounder, and moreover it's not expensive, easy to use and all natural. Time to take off the excess. But look out, the oily rags can burst into flames while drying, so make sure to store them airtight. No oxygen, no fire, or dampen them with water. Drying linseed oil reacts with air oxygen exothermally. It gets hot and even can cause fire. Once the oil is dried, there's no danger anymore. This is where the barrel should stand, right next to this rainwater pipe, and in order to get underneath with the watering can and to have a comfortable height for drinking cold beverages from the top, I need to elevate it a little. I still got these honeycomb stones from paving our terrace. If you haven't seen that video series, please have a look, it was great fun. They were just a little too ugly for here, but for supporting the water barrel, I think they will do. Okay, that looks sturdy, so in with the tap. .26, so 1 inch. These water pipe connections are pretty much the only thing we still use inches in Europe. This reducing socket has a thread for the tap. My challenge now, of course, is to somehow get it in watertight. Hey, not for you. I'll try it with a tight fit between wood and metal, and in addition to that, I'll use some of this non-toxic sealing compound. Ja, der ist aus Messing.
Cool aus. So warm.
No, that's not for brushing your teeth.
Und da den roten Ring.
All right, perfect. Now for the rainwater collection. I've got this thing called a rain thief, which is supposed to divert rain from the water pipe, but only if the barrel is not yet full. This works based on the principle of communicating pipes, but more on that when I've installed it. At this point, the installation varies depending on the diameter of the pipe, which could be 8, 9 or 10 centimeters. But here's an easy way to find out. A string put around the pipe gives me the circumference, about 31.5 centimeters. Circumference equals diameter times pi, so I just need to divide 31.5 by pi, which is 10 centimeters. Let's see if it works. All right. So how does this thing collect water from the pipe? Well, the water doesn't simply drip down the inside of the pipe, but runs along its sides due to the force of adhesion, which is an attracting force between two different materials. The attraction of water to water or any material to itself is called cohesion. Cohesion, for example, causes the water surface to bend out and is responsible for the shape of water drops, like on this leaf of wild garlic, also demonstrating the lotus effect, which makes the water roll off its surface. This thing collects the water that runs down the inside of the pipe and stops when the barrel is full. For this, in and outlet have to be on the same level, because as soon as the barrel is full, water will flow back into the rain thief, filling a small water container, and connected containers are called communicating pipes. And in these pipes the water level is equal everywhere. So with the barrel full, the reservoir will also be filled, keeping more water from flowing into the barrel. As soon as the level in the barrel drops, so will the level over here, and the barrel will be accepting water again. I think that's a brilliant principle. Alright, that's my new old wine barrel water container, which holds up to 220 liters of water. So what's still left to do is to wait for the barrel to get filled with rain so that the wood gets soaked again and the gaps will close so that the barrel is actually watertight. Where's the rain now?